Welcome to another interview here from Evertiq Expo in Berlin 2026. This time I'm joined by Nick from Memphis Electronic.
Hi Dennis, how are you?
I'm good. I hope you're doing well as well.
Excellent.
You had a presentation earlier on today.
Sure.
And you had one about 2 months ago in Zürich. And after that you told me it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Absolutely.
It's gotten worse. What the hell is going on?
Okay, I mean, in terms of semiconductor business development, we see that the AI cloud investment is still unprecedented.
Yeah.
It is accelerating, it's not slowing down. Hyperscalers, for example, are about to invest $700 billion in 2026, and it can go up to $1 trillion by 2028. At the same time, we see a lot of scarcity and a lot of focus nowadays from the big memory guys, Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron, for the profit-sharing products, which is the HBM and the through-silicon via. At the same time, despite the fact that we are hearing announcements, for example, like Micron is expanding the DDR4 and LPDDR4 capacity out of their Virginia fab, this will only give some relief to dedicated customers in aerospace, in industrial, in military applications and automotive within the US time space frame, right? At the same time, CXMT also makes some strides away from the DDR4 and the LPDDR4 because it is the growth pillar of the China's semiconductor sovereignty plans as well. So basically, nothing changes. Scarcity is, is expanding in this case. And I have to say that the wave of AI infrastructure cloud investment as a superposition cycle is much stronger than the memory cyclical behavior.
You mentioned SK Hynix, Micron, and Samsung, the big three players who's dominated the market for ages. In times of crisis, we usually see a structural change on the market. Do you see any other potential player coming in and starting to take market shares when it comes to DRAM, specifically maybe DDR4 and DDR3?
I think we do have a momentum from the Taiwanese players, for example, like in the likes of Nanya and Winbond. They're making strides to get some of the market share, but their capacity is not enough to relieve the capacity dislocation from Samsung, SK Hynix, or Micron in this case. So definitely they are poised to get market share, but regarding the supply and the demand, because the demand will be reduced, but not as fast as supply is catching up. So structurally, we are facing still a shortage in this kind of legacy products.
And if we look at the crystal ball, with all the data and the trends that you're seeing, what's the biggest challenge ahead that you're seeing?
What we are seeing really now, and it's quite interesting, is that a lot of supply chain is shifting from the typical spot behavior to long-term agreements. Of course, the long-term agreements are associated with the hyperscalers and the big memory players in this case for securing capacity on HBM through silicon via, etc., etc. But at the same time, the smaller players, including fabless, they are focusing more on making some LTA and MOU agreements with some smaller players in the industry, some smaller customers, expanding minimum 6 months up to 2 years. So the capacity is already being sold out, or they're in discussion to be sold out.
So one of the slides that you had in your presentation, you asked the clients to weigh strategic importance of memory against risk factor. And if I understood you correctly, essentially I asked the clients to design for the latest and greatest and not necessarily for the base minimum.
I have asked people to consider designing for procurement. This means that in the equation now and within their CTQs, they have to add the supply chain, the resilience, the flexibility, and the price trends as well.
So this has to be a design requirement? Like
from now on, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And this needs to be taken into account, equally important like all the other technical CTQs.
I thank you for the interview and wish you the best of luck.
Dennis, it was all good. Thank you.